Greetings and welcome once again to Shelf Life Book Reviews Online. Thank you as always for taking the time to watch my videos, which hopefully you do find informative. And the book I'm about to review for you today is one you will very seriously consider adding to your collection. And the book is BOP, The Definitive History of Women in Popular Music. This is the revised and updated 25th anniversary edition. It is published by Jawbone Press and it retails for $29.95. This is quite the book. The first book came out in 1995. Lucy O'Brien created a most interesting, she doesn't really call it an encyclopedia, but really it's a chronology of women in music right from the start of the 20th century. And this edition, 25 years later, adds even more. So the best became even better. So if you're looking for a book that really tells about the history of women in music, and you would be hard pressed to find one name of note omitted in this book. There are hundreds, maybe even thousands of women's names here who were part of the music business in some era and in some capacity. It all starts with Ma Rainey, and she was the first person to make blues music in America. She was African American, and she really knew how to make music. With her band, the Georgia Jazz Band, she toured. Unfortunately, there were quite a few of blacks only places where she could play, but whites also enjoyed her as well. And her music really withstood the test of time. And at the time, someone said to record executives that there was a black market. And, people caught on finally. But the book goes from that point, and it talks about, the blues, the jazz, vaudeville, pre-war, post-war. It goes into every decade, and every musical genre is covered in this book, of course. The 1950s were an interesting time for pop music because it was really finding its voice, literally, and performers like Connie Francis was one of the best-selling female musicians of that decade, with songs like Lipstick on Your Collar. She really brought the innocence of love and romance and relationships to the musical forefront. And many people came after her, like Patti Page, there was Teresa Brewer, and so many more. And this book encapsulates every musical genre that came along and every part of music. The 60s are covered in the chapter Ladies of the Canyon, of course, and there were a lot of female performers in the 60s. Of course, Joni Mitchell was a big part of that with her great hit songs, Both Sides Now, Big Yellow Taxi. And Lucy O'Brien really, this book was not written overnight. She has gone back, to the beginnings of music. And there's over 425 pages in this book. And as you get deeper into the book, it gets more fascinating as she talks about, a lot of the musical, like I said, genres. She looks at Motown, most specifically Diana Ross and the Supremes. Actually, it was just the Supremes at one point. And then they saw that Diana Ross was really, they called her the lead singer. And so later it became Diana Ross and the Supremes. And the other Supremes who were part of the group felt a little put out by it because they were all equal in the group. But Diana Ross got the big billing, and after the Supremes, she left the Supremes and she had a solo career. And as I say, the rest is history. Now, there's also the Look of Disco too, and some of the great disco stars of the 70s and the 80s, and there were a lot of them. So Lucy O'Brien brings us up to date there. She talks about the performers of the 80s. There was Deborah Harry, and so many more. Cyndi Lauper, of course, let's not forget her. She was a great contributor. In fact, the title of the book, She Bop, is named after a Cyndi Lauper song. So it really gets more engrossing. She looks at the country music, reggae, hip hop. There's nothing that she omits in this book. Country, of course, as well. Dolly Parton, Shania Twain, and all the great country singers, Faith Hill. So, but chapter by chapter, you just find even more. There's such chapters as Can the Can, The Real Thing, I Want to Dance with Somebody, which of course, mentions Whitney Houston, and a lot of stars in this book had tragic endings to their career and their lives. But so it would take an hour really, to fully get into everything that's in here. But since this is a short review, that I want to urge you to go and to look for this book, because it's the ultimate music reference book from the female singer perspective. So Jawbone Press has done an amazing job of bringing this book to the forefront, so you should add it to your collection without question. So bop along to your bookstore and pick up this book, because you will not regret it, trust me. So thank you for watching my video review. Hopefully you do agree with it. Let me know if you do. And I will be back with lots more reviews coming up in the very near future, so stay tuned. So until we meet again, stay safe, stay sane, stay in touch, and I will see you at the bookstore. Bye for now.